Let's give it up for Jacob Blank.
What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? Excited. First off, thank you so much, Ryan and Donnie, for having me speak at the event. I really appreciate it. This means a lot to me. You know, I'm just a young kid, was just in high school. Now I'm up here on stage. Pretty crazy. But if you don't know who I am, I'm Jacob Blank. I started my real estate journey at the age of 16, and by the age of 18, I'm 18 right now. I turned 19 in 3 days. Thank you. But I was able to build a 7-figure business in the matter of 2 years, which has been super amazing. So before I get into this, I just want to ask you guys a few questions. Who wants to become massively successful in real estate? Who? All right. There were some people that didn't say anything or didn't raise their hands. So let me ask you again, because if you're at this event, shouldn't you want to become massively successful in real estate? So who wants to be super successful? All right. Now, who wants to build a 7-figure business? Not a 6-figure business, a 7-figure business. Everyone? Okay. Who wants to build that 7-figure business in 2 years, in just 2 years? Real quick, right? So let's get into it. I was able to build that 7-figure business in 2 years. My father, David, over there, has been in real estate as a realtor since 2004, and he brought me around the business when I was around 12 years old when he started flipping houses. He would have me come by on the weekends and move some rock, paint some walls, even demo a kitchen, as you can see, for like $20 on the weekends. So I was around real estate. Then when I turned 16 years old, my dad split away from his business partner, and it ended really bad. It ended in a lawsuit, and this put a lot of financial and emotional stress on my family. It had all my family members split apart, feuding with each other and fighting with each other. And my dad needed me to be there with him day in, day out. And he found a deal direct to seller, and he thought it would be a good idea for me to put $5,000 in on this deal and work with him from the process, start to finish, on this flip and double my money doing it. And that's exactly what I did. I put $5,000 in on this flip. I learned everything from the paperwork to putting a toilet in, painting walls, you name it, and I was able to double my money doing this flip. During the time of doing that flip, I found out about wholesaling real estate, and I realized, wow, I could have done 10 wholesale deals in the amount of time it took me to do that one flip. Why would I not get into wholesaling real estate? And I really felt like this was something I could do at a young age because, you know, there's little to no entry cost, right? And you're just flipping paper. There's minimal risk. So I felt like I could really go for this. And that's exactly what I did. It turned into me staying up every night till 3 a.m. watching everything I possibly could on YouTube about wholesaling real estate to learn everything I can. And after 2 months of watching everything I possibly could on YouTube, I then started taking action. I printed out 1,000 of those flyers that say, I buy houses cash, as is condition, no commissions. And I printed out and mapped out a list of all the lates and pre-foreclosures in my area. And I drove around town knocking on doors, passing out these flyers. If they weren't home, I'd tape it to the door or leave it in their mailbox. I put out about 500 of those 1,000 flyers, and I never got a call back. And I was like, shoot, that didn't work. So then I started putting up bandit signs. There you can see little 16-year-old me on the floor in my living room putting zip ties through bandit signs, getting ready to go put them out. And I put out a bunch of bandit signs, never got a call. I realized I needed to switch something up. I needed to do proactive marketing rather than reactive marketing. Why am I putting these things out and waiting for people to call me? I need to be going after my first deal. Otherwise, who knows if I'm ever going to get it? And so that's exactly what I did. There's me in my living room cold calling. I started cold calling for 6 hours every single day. I went on a few appointments, but I really wasn't getting anywhere. At that point, I decided to hire 2 cold callers. There you can see me with some of my cold callers. And then I started gaining traction. I no longer had to worry about creating new leads. All I had to worry about was following up with the leads that I had and closing deals. So I started to go on a lot more appointments. After 6 months into my journey of grinding every single day trying to get this deal, I went on an appointment and I got a contract signed out in Gilbert, Arizona. But then the worst possible thing happened. A couple days later, I walked a buyer through the property. He pointed out some foundation issues that I didn't see. And those foundation issues, that unknown repair cost, completely killed the numbers on the deal. I had to cancel the contract. So after 6 months of grinding every single day, the worst possible thing happened. I lose the contract. That's all I was working for 6 months, and it's gone. So I felt like I was back at square one, but I didn't give up. I may have took the afternoon off and, cooled off after that, but then the next day got back on the phones chasing after the deal. 2 months later, I found another reasonable seller. They wanted $440,000 for their property. I thought I needed to be around $410,000 for the property. I said, you know what? Let me go out to the appointment, see if, maybe the condition's not as bad as I thought, and maybe we can make it happen. So I went out to the property. I was able to go up from $410,000 to $440,000, got the contract signed. Then I walked one of my best friends now out at the property to buy the deal, Mr. Zach Keeps, Zach Ventures. Some of you probably know him, and he bought the deal from me for $470,000. I just scored a $30,000 assignment fee at 17 years old. And there was a lot of stupid things I could have done with $30,000. What 17-year-old gets his hands on $30,000 and makes the right decisions with it? That never happens. So thankfully, I made the right decisions. I kept calling, kept doing the same thing. Right after I got that first deal, I went from 2 cold callers to 4 cold callers. And I got a few more deals. And then I opened my first office. There you can see me setting up the desks and the chairs, getting ready to hire a couple acquisition managers and start to scale. I started to scale. I hired a couple acquisition managers. I went from 4 cold callers to 8 to 12 cold callers, and I started to grow. After that, we started to gain traction. We had a $106,000 week, a $53,000 day, and a $202,000 month. I would have never thought that I would be able to have a $106,000 week or a $53,000 day or a $202,000 month. Getting started into this, all I wanted was a $5,000 deal, a $3,000 deal. All I wanted was a contract to be signed and go through and get closed. And now I'm hitting all these goals and these milestones. I can't even believe it. It was truly mind-blowing. I set goals and I hit them. In December 2019, I went to look at one of my dream cars, and a year later, after putting in a massive amount of hard work, I was able to buy that car exactly a year later. Life started to look a lot different. I was able to buy my beautiful mother amazing gifts for being the best mom ever, been able to get a dream office building, one of my dream cars, and I have an amazing team of people around me that I could not do this without. I don't know why, but these got messed up, but I remember them. Let's go. So, life can change so fast. And as long as you're putting in consistent efforts every single day, life will change really fast. But you have to earn it. Working one day, taking a rest day, that's not going to get you to earn it. It never will. The things that are holding you back are limiting beliefs. You have to wholeheartedly believe you can achieve anything you put your mind to. Otherwise, you lost the battle right there. You got to believe in yourself that you can do this. No action. You can learn the whole business. You can come to these events. You can watch everything on YouTube. You can learn the whole game. But if you don't take any action, you're never going to get the deal, right? You don't pick up the phone. You never go to the house. You never go on the appointment. How are you ever going to get the deal? It's never going to happen. And no consistency. All good things come from consistency, and you got to be putting those consistent efforts in. You got to create your own luck. You got to create your own luck with hard work and consistent efforts. I was never a lucky person, and I feel like a lot of you people out in the crowd think you're not very lucky either. Who's with me, right? Who thinks they're not lucky? That shit just keeps happening to them, right? Yeah, I never had luck, but I created my own luck, and that's what you got to do. So now I want to give you guys some value. Thank you to Donnie and his team, Omar, George, Jordan. Jordan just got a contract out here signed for me in North Richland Hills yesterday. And Reed helping me sell the deals. So a lot of people are super afraid to go into a virtual market, and that's how I was. But after going into the Texas market, I never realized how easy it would be. And the reason it was easy is because all you have to do is find somebody that is a big player in whatever market it is, doing a lot of deals, that you know has buyers, and that is a nice person and is willing to help you out. And that's exactly what I've been able to do with Donnie's team. They've been able to help me dominate the Texas market just like my own market and do very well. So This is a deal we just got sold. It was Skelton Drive. The marketing channel for this was cold calling. It came off a high equity 15 years plus residence list. We locked this property up for $17,500. We marketed it for $60,000, and we were able to score a total assignment fee of $42,400. Do you guys see anything wrong with the numbers right here? The purchase price was $17,500 and the fee was $42,400. What's wrong with that, right? The fee is almost triple the purchase price. Isn't that pretty crazy? To score a deal like that where you triple the purchase price, it was pretty wild. So that was a good deal right there. They took pictures of it and they helped me score a buyer, and we came to a win-win split on the assignment fee. Wildwind Drive, same marketing channel, cold calling. I love cold calling. It came from the same list, high equity, 15 years plus residence. Locked it up for $230, marketed it at $255, and we were able to sell it for a $25,000 assignment fee. We're currently marketing these deals together in Texas, one in Midland for a projected profit of $30,000, Dallas $75,000, and a Dallas deal for $25,000 for a total of $130,000 in the pipeline for a market that I don't even live in. And this deal right here, I visited this deal today. I drove there and I met the seller and I walked through the property. I've never walked through a virtual deal. It was interesting to do that today. It lined up perfect with our showings with our buyers for me to be in town and walk through the property. So that should be a good deal. Hopefully they buy it. But yeah, virtual deals, super easy to do. Who's scared of going virtual in the crowd? Anyone scared of going to a different market? I feel like I was so concerned about going to a virtual market, whether it was comping the properties, whether it was selling them, but I started to not worry so much about comping them because I would just reach out to Omar and he'd tell me, okay, you could buy it at that price and there should be some spread there to make a fee. And so then I stopped caring about that. And then once I had all these deals locked up, it got pretty stressful because I was like, how am I going to get rid of them? Uh-oh, this is not good. So I feel like locking them up is easy. Don't worry about that. It's the part once you have the deals, it becomes stressful to get rid of them. So that's why you got to have a good team in town to help you get rid of them, because there's just no way you're going to be able to build a buyer's list that's big enough to sell all your deals in a short period of time. Buyer's lists take a long time to build. So yeah. But to jump to Q&A after this, if you guys want to go download my contracts and scripts for free, go to jacobblank.com/free. And you can use the same purchase contract, same assignment contract, and same script that I use. And if you want to get the same cold callers, data, and dialers that I use, go to jacobblank.com/services. All right. Who's got questions for me? Anyone got some questions? Yeah. So if you go to Jacob Blank, he said, where do you get your leads for your cold callers? If you go to jacobblank.com, you'll be able to see where I get my data. I get it from Cole Realty Resource. And then it's unlimited data. So that's where I get the high equity lists from, because high equity lists, if you're trying to buy them for the whole market, it's going to cost you thousands of dollars. So I've been able to leverage Cole Realty Resource in order to save a lot of money on buying whole markets of high equity data. And the buyer's list. So in order to build your buyer's list, you got to be on Facebook. You got to be in those real estate Facebook groups, and you got to be going through the comments on other people's deals that they're putting out, and you'll see all these buyers are dropping their emails in the comments. So you just pick those up and add them. And you can have a VA do that and add them to the list. Yep. Yep. Say it a little bit louder. How important is scaling your business at first? You can't scale when you first get started. You can't scale when you first get started. You need to do at least like 3 to 5 deals minimum before you really start to scale. You can up your marketing to a point where you're able to produce more deals off of it, but you want to build up some capital before you go and hire a bunch of employees. Also, it's always good to hire employees in an office because you want them to take you serious. You don't want to hire them, at their house or at your house. So you got to have some capital built up at first. 100%. Yep. My original market is Maricopa County, Arizona. Yep. Questions? Yep. My average daily calls. I think I was on a different dialer than I use now. I was using Mojo originally, and now I use ZenCall. And I believe I was trying to hit 1,000 calls a day was what I was trying to hit. Yeah. How did I build the list of the data to call? Yeah, I got that data from Cole Realty Resource. There's a link on my website for it too. But also another way to get lists is you can reach out to your title company and they'll give you lists for free. They'll give you the pre-foreclosure, the late list, and sometimes they'll give you a little bit more data as well for free. And some title companies provide it skip trace. So that's something you want to look out for too to save money. Question? What kind of split? Cold callers don't get a commission. The acquisition guys get a commission, and we give them 10% commission, and then we pay them minimum wage. I was paying them $1,200 a month and 10% commission when I first started. But then I realized I needed to up the pay to get better people and have people want to stay and feel comfortable. So in business, you'll find that it's a lot of different testing out of different pay structures before you find something that's right, and then that changes too. So pay structures are always changing. Yeah. Any mentors? Yeah, I've had a bunch of mentors, and mentors are so important. I've had my dad as an amazing mentor, my uncle as an amazing mentor, and then I had the all-in guys, Alex, who's going to speak after me, Carlos, Sal. I paid them for mentorship, and they've been amazing, and Donnie and his team has been amazing to help me out as well too. Questions? Yep. Yeah. I use the ZenCall dialer, and if you go to my website, there's a link for that as well. The ZenCall dialer is good because it dials up to 12 lines at a time, I believe. And unlike the Mojo dialer, which only dials 3, so you can be a lot more efficient with that. Yep. Yeah, so you can go on the MLS and look at how many cash transactions are going on. I believe Propelio or PropStream would show you that too. So you want to look at how many cash sales are going on. And then you can just reach out to different title companies too, to realtors, make some calls, and try to figure out how much investors are, how many deals are investors buying, and what they're seeing in that market is a good way to determine it. And also, I mean, I've done deals with a population of 2,000 people, but it made it really challenging. I only had 1 to 2 buyers, and therefore they kind of had, leverage over me for me to not make as much because they were all I got, and they knew that too. So that's what's challenging about those really small markets. So you want to stay over like 50,000 population. Yep. Yeah, so at first I hired people that were already trained, and then shortly after I hired a couple people in Mexico, and I trained them myself, but they already had been working at call centers for a few years, so they pretty much knew what they needed to do. I just gave them some tips. And right now I have 30 cold callers. I have 15 in the Philippines with the callgenius.com, and then I have 15 working at home in Rocky Point, Mexico. Questions? Any more? Yeah, so every month I'm pulling divorce, death, and probate, and then daily I'm getting from the title company the pre-foreclosure list, and then I get the lates when they come out, the 60 and 90-day lates, so that way I'm like ahead of the game. I'm daily on those new pre-foreclosures, and I'm on those lates, those 60 and 90-day lates right when they come out. And then as far as for data, when I go broad with high equity for a whole market, I just pull that like once a year. But really, there's nothing new you're going to get a year later, so you don't really pull it that much. But then we're flipping that list, pulling it out, putting it back in, so that way we can call everyone that was not interested once again. Yep. Yeah, I'm sorry. So I pull death, divorce, and probate monthly, and then the title company gives me pre-foreclosures every single day, so I upload those daily. I have a VA doing it, uploading those daily, so that way we're on those pre-foreclosures right away. And then I get the 60 and 90-day lates from title, and I call those then as well. So that's kind of what we do. And then I pull the whole market, broad, high equity data like once. How do I manage my VAs? Good question, really good question. So I have a manager out in Rocky Point, Mexico, and she looks over everything. And we provide them with benefits and healthcare and all that. And she watches over everything, and now she has 3 assistants. So we keep just hiring people to help her because they do a lot of work other than just worrying about the cold calling as well. Yep. And I'm going there on Thursday for my birthday, which will be good. Yep. Yeah, we do fix and flips. The goal for this year was to do at least 12 fix and flips. We've only done 1 so far, so we're a little bit behind. But we did a really good one at the beginning of the year that profited $98,000, which was super amazing. Yep. Yeah. So let's do this. So if you text me at 480-605-4784, I will actually send out my training packet that I give my agents later today. So if you text me at 480-605-4784, I will send you the training that I give my agents. It's a 10 or 11 page packet going over rebuttals, everything you need to know. Questions? Yep. You can, if you find the right title company. So in Phoenix, I get pre-foreclosures and lates from Fidelity Title for free, and they actually give it to me skip traced. So you're going to have to do a little bit of searching to find the title company that will provide you with that, and find out if they give it to you skip trace. Because if they don't give it to you skip trace, you're going to have to pay to find the phone numbers. So that's something you want to look out for. And you want to, when you call these title companies, you want to get on the phone with the marketing rep, because they're the ones that will provide you with that type of stuff. I'm not sure because I've never reached out to a mortgage company for that. Other questions? Yeah? I pulled the divorce and death and probate, and I pull a couple other lists from there, but I can't remember. They provide a lot, like FSBOs and a bunch of other stuff from Rebo Gateway. Yep, that's a good place to get lists. Yep. That's more like a 6-month thing when we're recycling it, because it's a whole market, so it's like over 1 million records usually, depending on what market. Right now we're in 6 markets, so we once we felt that we were comfortable in Texas, we figured out, this is pretty easy, and now we're in Florida, Georgia, California, and Nevada. We just started in Nevada to try to sell Ryan Pineda some deals. Yep. Yeah, I stopped completely. I realized I could reach so many more people by cold calling rather than putting those signs out and the flyers. It's all about volume, and it's a numbers game. This stuff is sales and sales skills and your technique with closing the seller, but it also comes down to volume. No one's going to close everyone, so you got to be reaching as many people as possible. Yep. We do a little bit of SMS to the lates and the pre-foreclosures. And then we're jumping into PPC right now. We've done a little bit in the past, and we're about to start doing PPC again. But mainly our main marketing strategy is cold calling. Our second favorite marketing strategy is SEO. With SEO, I have 3 VAs that constantly are working on building backlinks and different things. And so that's been a challenge as well, to teach myself SEO, search engine optimization, to try to get all our different pages to rank for different states on Google. So we do that as well. Yep. Into laws. Yeah. So it does become a little bit of a challenge in those attorney states, but usually your buyer brings an attorney because they're used to doing deals, so they have their attorney. So you don't really, right when you get in that market, you'll meet their attorney and hopefully you like them, and then it becomes easier. But as far as laws, I don't really look into that. I just won't go into those states where it's getting, iffy, where it's becoming a gray area. Yeah.
So in your research into the virtual markets, did you find you couldn't fix the components anymore? How did you handle that logistics of handling a local contractor?
Yeah.
Pick up their cars off the stage and whatnot?
Yeah, so I haven't flipped virtually in a different market. So I just wholesale them in a different market. But what I do if I need a bid of work, like a contractor to go out and I need a bid, I'll send a realtor out to take a look, and they have a pretty good idea of repair cost. So they'll go out and tell me, what needs to be done and tally it up. But, if I find the right deal, I'll have a good team to, do the flip with. I'd do the flip with Donnie if I closed on a deal here in Texas. Questions? Anything else? Yeah? Here, you're free. Say that again?
At what point during your wholesaling career did you start the LLC?
Yeah, I started the LLC before I even got my first deal. It was important, and it doesn't cost too much money. Who was... Yep. Yeah. Common mistakes during fix and flips. You're always going to underestimate how much it's going to cost. That's just always happening. And then, you don't realize how long it takes to do the final touches. You're going to go through the house and you're going to put blue painter's tape up all over, and you're going to realize that your contractors missed a million spots and it's not up to the standard that you want. And that's just part of the game, and it always happens. Also, a mistake that can happen is if you're flipping and you're buying a house that's in an old age community or in like Sun City, for example, Sun City, Arizona, there's a fee every time you change ownership, which is a few $1,000s. It's $3,500 in Sun City. So if you don't count that into your costs, that could, be a major hit on your deal. Yep. I find my VAs at thecallgenius.com. And then when I find them in Mexico, I go to Mexico a lot, so I found them by being there. Thecallgenius.com. Thecallgenius.com. Yep. Yeah. So our lead to close ratio is 1 to about 123. At the end of last year, we had it down to 1 to 93, which is decent. You're trying to get down to 1 to 80, but it's a challenge. Yep. No, we got a bunch of the SBA loans, so you want to take advantage of those SBA loans if they come out again too, because we've just been flipping with SBA loans instead of using hard money or private money because the interest rate on those have been amazing. So we took advantage of that for sure. Yep. Yeah, when I first got started, I wasn't spending more than $2,500 a month. Right now, we're spending about $30,000 a month. So, but shortly after, I started ramping up, and I was spending about $5,000 a month before I even got my first deal. I feel like right before I got it, I was up to $5,000 a month. It cost me around like $12,000 to $13,000 to get my first deal, and I really went for it on that last month to get that first deal. I spent a lot more money. But one more question. Yep. The scam likely? The scam likely is a challenge that you just keep running into. So what we've done is there's this website called calleridreputation.com, and we signed up with them. This is pretty recent. And what you can do is you can plug all your phone numbers into that website, and they'll tell you when they got flagged, and they'll tell you who they were flagged by, like by what thing they were flagged by, the DNC list, whatever it is. So that's how we know if they're flagged. And then you can go to calltransparency.com and callfreedom.com. I think that's what it's called, and you can plug all your numbers in there before you start to use them, and it registers them with those DNCs, so that way they last longer before they get scammed. That's what we do, but that's it. All right, thank you guys. Really appreciate it.
Isn't that crazy? 18 years old.